Welcome, one and all. Oh, welcome to the show. It's back,
Yeah, man.
but welcome. So, hello, everyone. I'm Uncle Bill, and welcome to Uncle Bill's Tour of Italy. And tonight, we have the most esteemed panel that we've ever had in the history of this esteemed show. So, to my left is the captain himself, the loose cannon, Dr. Death,
Yeah,
Steve Benningfield. How you doing, Steve?
I'm a little rough, but I'm all right.
Steve's fucked up. I mean, not in that way, but he took a nap and now he's trying to recover.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what day it is and all that good stuff.
It's almost 4th of July, Steve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about one of your favorite things tonight, which is nudity and giallos.
Yeah, Edward Finneck. Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Oh, God. So below me is the man that really needs no
Yeah, blow
introduction.
me.
Below me. Phantasm Matt, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Just dodging some fireworks out here.
I didn't even consider that would be a thing, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of fireworks going off and a lot of probably animals going crazy and stuff like that throughout this entire program. So I apologize in advance.
Yeah, man.
So that's good, man. And so to the far left, also a man that has been on this show before, needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. Subjective Perspective Collective. Dirk, how are you doing, man?
Oh, man, pretty good. Hoping these crazy Cajun around here ain't going to start popping shit off like firearms fucking running down the street.
I guarantee.
That's how they do it around there. Just start shooting and shit.
But, nah. I already hear some shit going off, though, for sure.
And Cracker Bottom, man. Martin's getting rough. There's been a murder in the last 2 weeks, and there's still a killer running around, so it's untelling what's going to happen down here. They're holding press conferences and everything.
Woo!
I brought a rocket pop flavored beer to celebrate.
Whoa!
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit.
I better not find that. I'll be dangerous.
What kind of beer is that?
It's called a Bombs in Pop Space. It's a tart shake, so it's kind of like a sour IPA kind of thing. But
shit, man. That's like my favorite actual kind of beer is like the sour IPA.
Oh, these are great. Brewed in Pittsburgh.
Oh, that makes me sad. Steve, would you quit playing with your wiener over there?
I'm sorry.
That's the
I'm
first
a part
time I see a
wiener.
dog on Steve's lap in a stream.
Yeah.
Well, she was behind me a second ago. Now she's in front.
So let's see what we got, though, in the chat tonight on this wonderful day that we're going to be talking about. One of the unsung heroes of Italian giallo cinema, Sergio Martino. We have Adrian James. We've got Ben Davis, The Ring. Holy shit.
The Ring.
7 days.
The Ring. Like precious.
Crash 517, Twisted Trucker, Scratch, Maggot Fingers, Movie Junkie John, Witch Hunter, Chris Kjarncross. That's how we say it. Kjarncross.
Kjarncross.
And Super Batman Nerd also just popped in. Of course, like all of the usual suspects are in here. Vanderhoff, Texas HX, CX. Lots of people coming in as we speak. So I don't ever think we've discussed this guy on Dead Pit any at all, really. So this is a first for this show. It's probably a first. A lot of people are probably going to hear about this guy if you've been listening to Dead Pit anyway. But has anybody got any background information about Sergio Martino? Because I didn't get that far to fucking look about what his actual background is.
I have some. But you can go ahead, Matt, if you want.
No, I was just going to say I'm pretty sure he's Italian.
Yeah.
I mean,
How about Steve? Steve's like the encyclopedia of this shit.
No. I mean, I met him. I was fortunate enough to meet him at a
That's
convention.
Yeah.
oh wow.
He didn't really speak a lot because I guess he doesn't know much English, but
Huh. Okay.
I got
Did you get something signed?
yeah, I got a torso poster signed, and I actually have I think I have a torso DVD I got signed earlier from someone that got him to sign it for me.
Wow. I didn't even know that guy ever did conventions. What show was he at?
At the Wasteland.
Wow.
Oh, that makes
Back
sense.
when they
Yeah.
really had all the great,
Yeah.
you know, like the zombie cast and all that. So it was. I wish I had had more, you know, chutzpah to talk, but more likely he wouldn't even understand what I was saying. So
He'd probably be like, "What you say, Steve? You say your name is Steve?"
no, he would just go ciao, ciao.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah.
I mean,
Eh.
surprisingly though, man, with Martino, he don't really talk a lot of shit. I mean, he gives a lot of other people credit, like
Yeah.
versus other Italian directors. Like he gives Argento credit. He gave Polanski credit for Rosemary's Baby.
You about had to on that one though.
Yeah, right. For all the colors of the dark and all, but I mean, so his dad was like did the first Italian silent film in the 30s, I believe, and so he's kind of been grown up around it. He started out doing documentaries and westerns, did a lot of sex comedies, but his first giallo was Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward.
Which we're going to be talking about shortly. But yeah, it's a weird trajectory because a lot of these guys that we've talked about started out doing either like porn or westerns. That was like the thing around that period of time in Italy. Like, you know, the good and the bad and the ugly and all that going on.
He does some damn good Policio Teschi too. He's kind of like Fulci and Lindsay in that aspect too, like multi-genre director. You know.
Yeah, I mean, he did a lot of stuff towards the later part of his career that we're not going to really get into, but it's completely different than the stuff he did like here. Hands of Steel, which is the rugged Ronnie Garvin story, but he did that. And then he did, what else did he do? There was he did Cannibal Movie.
Mountain
Sister of
Mountain
Ursula.
Cannibal Guy.
Yeah, Mountain.
Yeah.
So he's got all over the place in terms of genres. And I think that was another thing all Italian directors kind of had to do at one point in time is cannibal movies because of Diodato.
He gives credit to the real murder case where this guy murdered his wife for wealth. The Fernaroli murder. He gives a lot, like 3 to 4 films credit between that and this movie, Diabolique.
Oh, hell yeah.
He gives those two things credit for like 3 to 4 of his films, he said. So
Diabolique is one of the it's just like a must-see movie. I mean, if anybody doesn't have that Criterion edition, it's like $20 on Amazon right now. So
yeah,
that's like an absolute must. Really, really classic horror adjacent movie.
You got Ernesto Gastaldi writing most of the shit, you know, as far as these films go, the Jolly and all. So good stuff, man.
He did a sex comedy with Edwidge in it as well, Sex with a Smile.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that, but it's like a sketch comedy movie.
And his brother was with her, like married to her, right? For not now, but
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not real sure about it.
Yeah, I think that's how they really all 3 of them work together.
Right.
Wow.
So let's see here. A lot of Italian people in here tonight. Most people only know of Torso, which I guess that's probably pretty common, right? Because like before this, I had only seen 2 of his films. Honestly, I'd seen Torso and I had seen Your Vice, but those are the only 2 I had seen. So I don't think that's uncommon for people to not be that familiar with the early stuff that he did.
Right.
Well, if people had Showtime or cable back in the day, he did that 2019 after the fall of New York. I saw that on there a lot.
That apocalypse
style
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
But that's only he did a Western and stuff like he's done all kinds of stuff.
It's weird though, man. Like all these guys so far that we've talked about in the course of this show were all like really, really seasoned guys even before they made their first movie. They were either like cinematographers, editors, they worked under other guys. Like, you know, nobody really came into it making these movies without some like ton of background experience. and especially with genre films like westerns and things like that too. So the first film that we're going to talk about though is one that maybe a lot of people haven't heard of, and we're going to go chronologically. So the first one is going to be 1971's The Strange, The Strange Vice of Mrs. Wardh. And the funny thing about this, I was like, why in the fuck is there an H at the end of this that makes absolutely no sense? Like,
It's silent.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you come to find out that like the only reason there's H at the end of it is because some woman that was actually named like the same name as the character tried to sue him or something like that.
Yeah, that's what
And
I
so
yeah,
they had
that's what I
to
heard.
they had to put an H at the end of the name to that made a big difference. But yeah. So it's a completely different person than this person that tried to sue us.
Well, this is a hell of one to start off with because this is
man.
really, really, really great, and it's got a great soundtrack, and it's a hell of a first. Was that his first Giallo film or what?
Yeah, it's
I
his
believe
first.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
because he did a couple before this.
he calls it his first thriller. But you know, I mean,
Yeah, it is, but it's got pretty strong Giallo too. So.
It's pretty clearly, yeah.
yeah, it's a
Pretty
genre.
clearly, yeah.
But I mean, Italian thrillers, they're all thrillers, I guess. I don't know what the hell he's talking about in that interview I've seen, but
So all of these movies that I watched open pretty much the same way with a bunch of naked women, or at least one naked woman. Like every single one of his early movies, that's the way it like starts off. And she's in various states of undress, and then there's a murder. And that's exactly how this one starts off too, with the blonde, big titty woman getting murdered. So that's kind of your setup, and that'll be the setup that you'll see in a lot of these movies throughout this first 4 or 5 years that he's doing these giallos, though, for sure.
Can't go wrong with that. Yeah, but they do all pretty much start out with either women in an orgy or out of focus slightly with the the credits rolling on the screen, and it really sets the tone. It gets you in the mood.
Yeah, and there's like I don't know, kind of like a backstory that there's this serial killer running around who's a pervert, and I think they call him that.
He's a psychosexual, the razor blade killer, right?
Yeah, a psychosexual pervert. I think they refer to him as that at like one point in the film.
Right.
And he's slicing and dicing like all these different women, and that's kind of like the narrative running in the background. Like, and you think that that's where the film is going to go, like that's what its main focus is going to be, but that's really not the main focus of the film, because you're introduced to Miss Wardh.
Yeah, Edward Fenech's playing Julie Wardh, and you got George Hilton. Like, if you've seen the genre, I mean, he's so many fucking jolly.
Woo!
Uh-oh, Bronson Wright Wolf.
Uh-oh.
You got an Ozzy statement over here.
Oh shit, we got
Fire in
super
the
chat about
sky.
Ozzy in the middle. All right. I mean, it wouldn't be a show if we didn't have Bronson talking about Ozzy. So let's see. Let's take a break from this for a second.
Hell yeah.
Answer an Aussie question. Happy 4th of July, guys. To you too, Bronson. Hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. I have to bring up Ozzy Osbourne. Have you guys ever listened to his song called Fire in the Sky?
Yes, it's off No Rest for the Wicked. It's a great song.
That Bronson is probably my favorite Zakk Wylde album. So yeah, I have heard that.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy he brings that album up because I was just talking about that.
I've never heard that song. I don't think.
Yeah, no Rest for the Wicked is like, I was jamming that shit in 6th grade, you know. I remember my teacher took my tape away from, I was looking at it in class and shit.
It's a great album. But thank you for the super chat, Bronson. Anyway, Mrs. Wardh.
Yeah.
So that's a hard transition back to that, but we're going to do it. So there is an ongoing kind of like storyline in this where there's a guy by the name of Jean who she was previously seeing who had some sort of sadistic relationship with her and beat her. And like, there's one scene, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody tell me,
he's a
he's a sadomasochist. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong about this. Did they like have sex with glass in between.
Yeah, it's doing
I was
some-
like, Jesus Christ.
the glass mash.
Yeah.
That's old Ivan Rosimov.
Oh, yeah.
He made a whole career of being sadistic toward Edwidge, like All Colors of the Dark and this.
Yeah.
But there's like, so was she into that shit too? I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's what they're. Yeah, I think that's the strange vice
Yeah.
that they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
They give it there's a term for it. It's like her kind of like she has like a thing for blood.
Yeah,
Yes.
the blood,
That's
blood
what it
fetish. That's
It
what-
excites her and disgusts
He says
her at
it.
the same time, Matt. That's what
Right.
it says.
Yeah, he says that shit in when they're getting questioned by
Yeah.
the police or whatever.
I can't
Yeah,
remember
blood fetish.
the term, but it's she had, but it's like she likes it, but then you're kind of like confused whether or not you're supposed to be like concerned for her or whether
Well, that's
flips back and forth with it.
and that's kind of where the film like toes the line, if you will, Daddy. Like it really doesn't ever like say one way or the other if like because it excites her, but it repulses her. So who's to
And
say?
see, I kind of think he had to have been inspired from the whipping the body. I mean, that's
Oh
what
yeah,
the
yeah.
kind of vibes I get from it, but I don't know.
And then so there's another love interest in this movie, who I guess is like the straight guy. I think his name is George, the husband. That's actually just like kind of the milk toast guy that's there, and he's trying to keep her out of trouble and protect her from John and all this stuff throughout the movie.
Yeah,
And of
the
course,
diplomat dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're going to say there's a plot to this movie, and that's pushing it, like the plot would be this kind of triangle between those three characters and her having these flashbacks about all that, and kind of like the
It's
weird,
like it like turns her on when she starts thinking about that shit too, though.
Yeah,
right, and it happens continuously through the film.
But she's pissed off about it. She don't want to be turned on. I don't know. It's fucking weird. It's strange. The
Yeah,
strange
make up your
vice.
mind, girl.
Yeah.
And there's some great camera work in the delirium like scenes where she goes into whatever, like, flashbacks or crazy hallucinations or whatever she's having. And he shoots it like where he's like 360, like all the way around her. And then he'll pan like to the right a bunch of times and to the left a bunch of times. And like, it just creates this really kind of disorienting style of like all these shots, which is great. To kind of let you know that she's not really on a rocker and she's coming off of it pretty quickly.
What
Right.
about that party scene at the beginning, though?
That's that seems yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
was
one dude just goes up, rips that chick's dress. Talking about
yeah,
it's like-
yeah.
I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on because there's really no setup to that, Dirk. It's just like they just do it and then the other one does it to her and it's
Yeah.
like that's it. Like that's the
Yeah,
whole
they just
setup.
they
And then there's
start
a
naked wrestling right there.
and then there's like somebody dancing on the table naked. It's like the best party you've ever been to, like for no
Right.
apparent reason, breaks out.
Wasn't the dresses made out of paper or something? Or-
Yeah.
It was something like
Okay.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I remember it now.
Yeah, there was some really good camera work in that scene too. That I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I just watched Jaws like yesterday. But the scene where she sees the guy across the room, and it cuts to her face, and she's like repulsed, and he's like lifting up his drink and smiling, and it cuts back
Yeah.
and forth between her face and his face, and it's almost like the scene in Jaws where he's sitting on the beach, and then it's like watching the water, his face watching the water. It was like a really good scene that I thought always stood out from the first time I saw this.
Well, the great part about this, of all these movies, really is the camera work above everything else. Like sometimes, the plot's thin, sometimes the dialogue's a little questionable, but like everything about the cinematography and the direction is always really good in each one of these films too.
Yeah.
One thing that I mentioned, or I heard someone else mention a long time ago, was that basically movies today don't have like the close-ups. I mean, these films have close-ups
close-ups.
galore. So I mean, it's especially when you got these kinds of faces, that's a pleasure to look at Edwidge in the.
Oh yeah.
Well, his
See
whole
stuff like-
career at this point in the beginning seemed to be like putting her in
in
like
distress.
in distress, and like some guy, one
When
guy
she-
or a couple
when
guys
she
are coming
runs-
after.
Oh my bad. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Dirk.
I was just saying she runs goofy as hell in this one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, she's just constantly running goofy and shit. I don't know, but
she's gorgeous in all the movies that she's in, but particularly this one, I thought like just the way they had like her hair done and the makeup and everything. Just I don't know. She's like totally. I've said it before. Just eye candy. You know, just like.
Yeah.
Not even just like the sex appeal of it, but she's just like kind of enamoring to look at on the screen, and the way they shoot her in these movies.
yeah, she has screen presence for sure.
And she was really young
no other.
in these movies. Wasn't she in her 20s, like early 20s in these?
Yeah, I think 25.
Yeah, because she was
maybe.
she was in Top Seduction, and she was like either 19,
Yeah.
and that was 69. So this is only a few years after that. So very early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah,
So she
that's
was-
one you're kind of like, she was really young to be in a movie like that, because
Yeah.
hasn't seen that movie. You know,
Yeah.
there's a scene in that movie that's particularly. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole movie's kind of screwed
She's-
up already, but there's one.
Yeah,
scene.
and any other person, that would be haunting them, but no one brings that scene up with her for some reason. I don't, it doesn't
probably
matter.
It's probably her most like you would think would be her most notorious scene.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it involves a goat. I'll say that.
yeah.
Oh,
I've
man.
heard about it. Yeah.
Oh damn! I
I've
never
never seen it.
did watch it. Yeah.
The movie's
Oh
not
shit!
not really that good, but the entire premise of it is totally messed up.
I just love the movie, but I mean, but yeah, it's a strange thing.
It is.
It's another strange vice.
Is it
Yeah.
like Island of Death kind of goat scene? Or
Well, it's not very graphic. It's just kind of like implied more than shown on screen.
Yeah.
Subtitles. Goat
Oh,
bleeps.
All you have to do,
Goat smacks lips.
Damn.
literally.
Wasn't that a fucking Adam Sandler bit at one point? Like, the goat or whatever.
I'm not
think it
sure.
was.
All you have to do is read the synopsis, like the little biography for what that movie is, and you'll know right away why it's non-PC.
I can't believe it. It's weird though, because you talk about her look, but her look in this is great. But then you fast forward to the next one, which is Your Vice, and she looks completely different. Like I didn't even recognize her because they've got her hair lightened, and I guess they're trying to make her look more disheveled or something, but it doesn't look like the same person whatsoever.
Oh,
So
in
they
Your
did-
Vice? Yeah, she
Yeah,
got the short hair. You know.
And
like
her
red.
character-
Yeah.
we'll get to that, but I mean that her character in that is like a totally different. Kind
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
Way
Yeah, it took me
different.
a minute to figure out who it was. Like when I kind of watched them back to back.
Right.
But okay, so I don't know how much you want to go into detail about because this guy is like the fucking M. Night Shyamalan of Italian film directors. There's always a twist at the end of these movies that
Yeah.
you don't really see coming. So I don't know how much you want to go into that. But anyway, Jean gets murdered. I'll say that, and trying to kind of piece together like what happened with that. And then there's a false finish. I'll say that using a wrestling term, and that's about all I'll say.
I think it has
Dusty.
one
Then
of the
a
best.
happy car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Happy car dance that they do. You know.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a great scene.
it's a great scene.
They're laughing. They're driving down the
Yeah.
road laughing, like obnoxiously. It's
I
hilarious.
thought for sure they're going to drive that fucking thing over the cliff like while they were doing that. That's what I was waiting on. I was like, that's going to be the end of this movie, but no.
I thought they were going to do a Tango and Cash.
Well,
Are they doing that?
and that is,
Yeah, they were too damn
I
happy,
think
man.
that'd be great if they did. That'd be
I think of all the ones we're talking about, though, it's probably the best twist ending
it is.
to me.
Yeah.
And it's a real like.
We
It
can't
really
forget about
is unexpected. I mean, they make you believe one thing, not early on, but before the false finish. You're like, wow, they really did that with her character, and this is how it's going to end. And then the twist after that.
It has an amazing scene in it before you get to the twist.
Yeah.
That I've never seen anybody do with like the ice cube
Right. There you
sequence.
go.
Yeah.
I've never seen that in a film before, but they show it on camera. It actually works like
Mhm.
practically on camera. So that what they do basically is he's trying to murder her, so like make it look like it's an accident. So he gets an
Like
ice
suicide.
cube. Yeah, like suicide. He gets an ice cube and he shuts the door and turns the gas on and then puts it on the lock to where like once the ice cube melts, the lock will latch behind him once he shut, and it actually works. Like they show the damn in camera, like the thing like clicking over onto the door, which I thought was awesome. That shot goes on forever because
I bet there was a lot of Italian women who got killed by gas that year,
Right.
a lot of people
I mean-
imitated that. I'm sure.
and a lot of happy husbands.
Yeah.
I was listening to Gastaldi's interview on that, and he was just patting the shit out of himself on that. He said the only thing people remember this film is that ice cube. Like,
Yeah.
I remember the finish. Like the finish is great, but yeah,
Well,
the ice
it's
cube is
so-
definitely.
It's really suspenseful. It gets
Yeah.
the suspense down in it, which like I feel like a lot of times in giallo movies, like there is suspense, but it's not really that effective. It's more about like the mystery of like who done it. But this one got some really good suspense thrown in there as well, like that scene in particular, because it does go on for a while, but
Yeah.
it's you're not sure if is that really going to lock the door? Is it going to fail? And he thinks it worked. Like, so I thought that was effective.
Yeah, this like I do agree with you though, Matt. I think this has the best overall ending of any of the films that we're going to talk about. So
It does, yeah. I think it may be. I think at the end, I was thinking about maybe trying to rank the ones we're talking about. This may be my top one for the ones we're talking about, but it's kind of a close tie with with Torso and then Your Vice is a Locked Room. But this
Your
might
Vice
the
is
one.
my favorite giallo period.
Okay.
well, let's get that's a hell of a segue, Dirk. Let's get into it then, because that kind of transitions us. I'm not going to type all this out because it would take up the whole damn screen. But
Right.
this one we're going to be talking about is Your Vice is a Locked Door and Only I Have the Key from
Yeah, man.
1972. So
Yeah.
Well, that
I-
poster art.
I love the way this film starts
Yeah, that's
off
the one I got on there. That's
again.
crazy looking shit.
Again with the orgy.
Again, there's a straight up within the first 5 minutes. There's an orgy in this movie.
Yeah.
I like-
Oh yeah.
It starts with this party where you've got. I'm trying to remember
God.
his name. He's like a writer, and he's failing as a writer. And
His
Luigi
mother died.
Castilli.
yes, okay. And he is taking it all out on his wife, who, of course,
And they really go out on that. too.
that's what I'm saying. Like they don't
Oh,
hold
man.
anything back with this either.
Right.
Like-
Yeah, his mom, I think, dies, and so they're having like a wake at his house, which is basically just like all of his. He's got these like people that just
All these
come and
hippies
hang out.
just hanging out and
Yeah.
singing
Free
crazy
booze and
songs.
pills,
Yeah, getting
Yeah.
naked and dancing on tables and shit.
singing
Again.
shitty songs.
Yep.
Yeah,
of that
no,
dubbing.
what the hell?
God, I would have smacked the shit out of her if she started doing that shit.
Yeah,
Well, if they had a naked chick on the table dancing, then I'd probably watch that. But
Yeah,
So, I mean, literally within the first like 5 minutes of the movie, he takes all the liquor in the house, pours it down his wife's throat, tries to like choke her to death. Then there's like an orgy sequence, and everybody's dancing naked on the table. That's the first opening scene of this movie. So you know you're gonna be in good hands here.
yeah.
and they really give off they really want you to know that he's a piece of shit too, because
Yes.
he's like he's
Yeah,
just
he's
belittling his wife in front of everybody and like making her cry, and he's
just
just like,
humiliating the shit out of her.
It's like,
I mean,
yeah.
it's kind of crazy. Like Anita Strindberg character, and also I know everybody gloats over Finneck, but Strindberg's my favorite giallo queen
oh,
out of all.
she has hard boobs, right? That's the one.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
But I feel like she's the better actress though. Like,
I mean,
as far as-
Yeah, Steve. We're not concentrating on hard boobs right now. It's the acting.
oh,
That's the key.
oh.
yeah.
We'll get to it.
it might be controversial, but yeah.
Yeah.
What else about it? Like, so like
Well, yeah. I mean, if you want me to go through the plot, like, there's a setup with he has a mistress, of course, because he's a dick, and then like there's also a maid that is in the house.
Yeah, they call her certain something.
A bunch of times, and I'm kind of like, wow, this film,
Play with
like,
her nipples, and
yeah,
he starts humiliating her too. You know, like just.
That's the one black chick that's in every Italian horror giallo movie.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So, right in the middle of talking about giallo titties, we got another super chat from Bronson.
Yeah.
Hold on. I appreciate this, Bronson. I just wanted to throw this out there. I like the 4th of July scene in the Sandlot.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
You know what got me thinking about
I love
4th of July stuff? I want to watch Blowout again because of the fireworks at the end.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
That'd be a good one for tomorrow. Yeah.
I got that 4K I need to watch.
I need to watch the
blue.
Sandlot, too, though.
I don't know. That blue looked pretty damn good. That Criterion. But...
I'm sure it does. Yeah. I didn't have it before, so when it went on sale on the last 50% off sale, I went ahead and got the 4K of that one. I'm sure it looks phenomenal.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But, so yeah, she's...
Transition, do it, man.
So,
we're talking about physical media, too.
So, he's a piece of shit, and he's belittling his wife in front of everybody. Edwidge does not show up until way late in the movie.
Right.
So
like 32 minutes in.
I'm watching it thinking, because there's a poster for this movie with her on it. You know what I'm talking about, Steve? Where she's on the bed holding the cat, and she's
Yeah.
Oh man, I would love to have that.
Well, they credit Edgar Allan Poe as one of the writers.
So that's
and this is also like Martino's take on Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat.
That definitely becomes clear at the end of the film. I was like, oh, okay.
So, well, one thing.
That damn cat. What is it?
So the cat, like, I'm watching this for the first time, and I'm thinking they're really showing this cat a lot, and just every other scene, the cat is in it. That's one thing I've also noticed about a lot of gialli is there's cats in all these movies. I don't know if you picked up on that, but there's always at least one scene where someone's holding a cat or the cat's in the room. It's that and J&B. this one would
J&B Scotch, gotta have it. Yep.
This would be a good one to play the J&B, spot the J&B bottle, because it's in this movie throughout. There's multiple bottles in one scene even. But the cat definitely, at the end, you understand why it was such a big part of the movie. And I kind of liked that, because that was kind of a different, definitely very Edgar Allan Poe-esque, kind of a gothic. This is more of like a gothic feel to it, the entire movie, really.
It does. It's got a lot of erotica stuff, a lot of gothic stuff. There's a lesbian love scene in it, and love like triangle thing going on in it.
But you get the idea that his wife loves this cat. It's kind of her pet, and the husband hates the cat. He hates the cat. He's like saying, "I'm gonna kill that cat."
No, it's the other way around.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. Sorry, it's the other way. You're right. It is the other way around.
It's Irina's. She's the one being terrorized by Satan.
Yeah, the cat's name is Satan. Yeah,
and it was his mother's cat.
That's right.
And there's also some little side note with some incest shit going on with him and his mother. Like,
of course there is.
Yeah,
and he wants to get it on with his niece, which is Edwidge. So,
yep,
that's true.
Can't blame him.
Yeah, really. It's Italy. Anything goes.
Yeah, it's got it all.
This is the first film. Especially Giallos, where I saw Edwidge not really play the good person. She's really kind of a bad in this.
She's more in control in this one. Like,
she's not a damsel in distress. She's
right. And that was actually covered on one of the interviews on this Arrow disc. He talks about how he purposely, he wrote her in as kind of the aggressor in this movie. And in the other movies, of course, she plays the damsel in distress and is, walking around all scared and confused. But in this one, she has a little bit of a more evil eye for what's going on.
So is she like the Italian Linnea Quigley? Like, what would be her counterpart in America, where she just kind of is always running around? Like,
don't know. That's tough.
She's
That's
the
tough.
biggest jolly queen, I would say.
She's in a lot of them.
So you could say.
I mean, I
Jamie
guess
Lee
you could
Curtis.
say she's like a scream queen.
Yeah, right.
So she
Like
would be
Jamie
like
Lee.
Jamie Lee Curtis, basically one of the top ones.
Yeah.
But she did a lot more. I mean, she did all those sex comedies, which, from our perspective, half of them are horrible. But
Yeah.
I'm sure
I
they're
don't
well
they got a
loved over there.
special sense of humor. I mean, British have their own sense of humor, but Italians now they got something a little different than
It's
everybody.
like Benny Hill on steroids, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this movie has more swerves than a fucking AEW pay per view, though. Like,
Woo!
so many different things happen. Like where you think
Swerve
going
City.
one way, it's going another way.
Yeah. This is the first one I've ever seen though. And it's my favorite, so it's kind of crazy. You go back to the gate.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a really great title too. I mean, I love it
Yeah.
when these movies have like long drawn out titles for some reason.
It probably is the best title of any like Italian
Yeah.
horror film. Or any
Well, this
Italian
showed up.
film,
Didn't the title show up in?
Yes,
strange.
Is it All Colors of the Dark or?
it was.
Or,
Strange
Mrs.
Ward.
Ward,
Yeah, yeah. I got a freeze
no.
frame of that and use it as a wallpaper because I thought that was cool.
Yeah, she in the Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward, she receives a ominous letter, and it says your vice is a locked room and only I have the key. And then of course you get to this, and it's like, oh, okay, well, same thing.
Right. But it had a couple other titles. Excite Me
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah, that's not nearly as good, but yeah.
and Gently Before She Dies.
Yeah,
Woo!
I think that title actually shows up on the English. If you put the English version on here or whatever, it shows up as Gently Before She Dies on the screen.
Okay.
From what I remember from watching it, but again, it's hard to talk about too much without.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah,
mean,
we're not gonna
there's
spoil
a lot of murder. I'll put it that way. So like, a lot of people get killed. The maid gets killed. The new maid comes in. There's a whole big thing with that really can't get into without giving away like what happens at the end. You think it's going to go one way, and it definitely does not go in that direction and goes like a completely different way. But the real memorable thing about this movie to me, aside from the very beginning scene, is the ending is just it's the black cat. Like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. I mean,
That look though on
oh
I'm
yeah,
not gonna say whose face, but
Mhm.
that look on her face is priceless, and she just fucking
Yeah.
losing her mind and shit.
yeah.
And that's really a good reference point. I feel like anybody who is into those Edgar Allan Poe type of stories and the gothic horror stuff, this would be a really good starting point for if you haven't seen a giallo. Then you're kind of killing two birds with one stone in there. But the great ending, great classic gothic horror ending to it as well. Some real creepy sound effects from the cat. The cat throughout the movie, you hear the cat meowing ominously in the distance and things like that.
Great shots, like the way they do it. Well, they basically go from the cops to the thing to her, and they just keep doing that this cycle, to kind of ramp up the tension. It's a great sequence there. Not to give it away, but I'm sure most people would probably like this film in the same vein as The Psychic or something like that. They got that type of ending that's you totally don't see coming, but or maybe you do see coming in this case, because
I try every time.
It's hard to call that one though, I would think, because damn. You know what I mean? Just from the shit that goes on through the whole damn film, and then you're like, what the hell?
like I said, it takes a huge
Yeah, the
turn.
shift of the character.
Yeah.
What?
I really sit there and try when I watch these for the first time. I do actually try to what? Okay, it's got to be this person. I know that one's a red herring, this and that. But I'm never right. I might have a little part of it right, but I'm.
Right.
It's always a surprise, truly. And that you can't really say that for like a lot of movies, mystery.
Hell no.
No.
My old lady watches shitty Lifetime movies, and
You know,
and she'd try to make me watch that shit. I'd be like, I'll figure it out in the first 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch this shit. You know? So,
but I feel like a part of that is, like these giallo movies are so convoluted that they make it really impossible. I mean, it's hard. Even like you almost need to watch them twice just as a standard. Just
You
because,
can't. Yeah,
Yeah.
these I had to actually sit down. Like a lot of times, I'll watch a movie. I'll be doing something else. You have to actually watch.
you do.
Like your complete attention has to be on like what's going on, because you will never like pick up. Characters come in, they go out. You don't know who they are. Like they don't really explain like a lot of times like what their importance is in the film. People get killed, and it's the plot just meanders all over the place a lot of times too. Especially in this one. Like this is the one where it's like it is just like from one thing to the next thing to the next. You never know where he's going with this. It's good, really. Like if you like that type of like giallo.
And that's what I think kind of takes a lot of people out of a movie.
I think the reason I love this one the most is because of the atmosphere. I dig the atmosphere more in this one than I do any other giallo.
It really does kind of take place a lot at that
Yeah.
at his estate too. It's
Right.
kind of more of that kind of old theme of just staying at the house for most of the movie.
I'm curious though, because I was trying to figure this out too. Like, I mean, what do you see as being the differences between Martino and like Argento, or some of the other big giallo guys, like in terms of his style over theirs?
I think Argento is way more visual, but then again, I don't know, because like you said, some of the shit in like Strange Vice and all that, like it's I don't know. There's something about the way that Sergio Martino like directs and tells the story that's not like Argento. I feel like is more poppy with his.
His is not as. I don't think Argento's are as good as far as written. I think Martino's got a better writer for sure.
I think the editing is one of the big differences to me too, though, because in an Argento film, it's edited much more kind of like a action film or something than it is like than in these. These are edited more like dramas, like just kind of serious psychological dramas where like scenes go on for long periods of time. Dialogue scenes go on for long. In an Argento movie, it's like shit's happening like constantly.
Visuals.
Like
just overload your ass with visuals.
Yeah.
Also, Argento goes kind of overboard in certain violent scenes and stuff like that, where it's the gore and stuff.
That's true.
These don't do that or at least the Martino's doesn't do that to that extent.
Right.
No, a lot of the kills in like these first two, at least that we talked about, they're not elaborate in a lot of ways. Like an Argento is kind of focusing on the glorious kill scene,
Yeah, like the story's built around the kill sequences,
Right, and nothing wrong with that, because I love both styles, but
right.
I feel like maybe Martino's is more of like a classic film way of telling these stories, whereas Argento is kind of a highlight reel of a giallo.
There's certainly more like, except for maybe this next film we're going to talk about, there's more fantastical kind of elements in Argento films than in these.
This one here, shit.
But in the next one, I think maybe he like trumps like a lot of Argento's films for just being kind of batshit crazy with some of the scenes that he has in this movie.
Especially the opening. I mean, damn.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go into that one though, which is 1972's All the Colors of the Dark.
Right. That's
which I don't know.
I got.
Yep. I got the Severin one.
Okay.
Did Severin put that out? I was trying to figure out like who. I know Shameless did before. Yeah.
Both. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm guessing Severin probably has more features.
Well, you got that giant documentary. If you got the them together of All the Colors of giallo.
It looks like
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I did get that. I did get all the Colors of giallo. Yeah.
That's on Tubi right now too. If anybody wants to watch it. Yep.
And And this one comes with the soundtrack too. But I honestly like the cover on the Shameless one better. I like that. I love
movie
when they do
poster.
that.
Yeah, I dig that poster. Yeah.
That's really does that cover?
Can we show that? Is that all right?
I don't know. I think
It seems fine to me. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I ain't Garrett. I ain't gonna fucking start freaking out. Nah, it looks fine.
But yeah, this one's like $16 on Amazon, I think, if it's still on sale. But so don't go and buy this from the Severance site because you won't get it until October.
That's true. You get it around Halloween.
Yeah, go ahead and get this on Amazon.
What's up, Heavy Metal Turtles? So, when the first 5 minutes of this movie, when I was watching, I was like, okay, this is going to be like Rosemary's Baby because it basically like starts off exactly like Rosemary's Baby.
The opening, you can't tell. I mean, I don't know if y'all agree with me or not, but you can't tell between if this is a Fulci's woman in a lizard skin.
Yeah.
Like, just that scene, the opening scene. I mean, it looks so much like that shit.
It's so bizarre that it's almost like John Waters meets David Lynch.
Right.
The weirdest shit. You're like, what in the world is going on? Like, because it's nothing like any of the other openings of these movies, and that it's not like any of the other scenes in any of these.
Oh yeah, you got that. I didn't know what that was, but that's an old lady that's dressed up like a doll doing that damn.
Yeah, she's like walking doing the robot.
There's so much weird shit that goes on in this first like 5 minutes. This is, I don't know if I would even say this is a giallo. Is it a giallo?
Not really.
Yeah, I'd call it maybe a cult giallo.
It's a
hybrid
Satanist cult giallo hybrid. Yeah. This is a tough one for me to even kind of like have a genre for this movie, but I mean, it falls.
Oh, go ahead. My bad, man.
I was just gonna say it falls in the same realm as like to a point, Rosemary's Baby, and then to another point, it begins to kind of turn into like a mystery kind of suspense film. So I'm not sure exactly what to file it under, but so I mean, if you want to give like the basic plot, this lady, played by everybody's favorite actress in these films, is having these nightmares about all this crazy kind of stuff. And the first scene in the film is one of the nightmares, which doesn't make any sense, but like there's all kinds of wild stuff going on, which culminates with somebody being stabbed. And that's kind of the beginning of the film. And then from there, you kind of are introduced to her. I guess that's her husband. Like
that's her boyfriend.
Boyfriend? Okay.
Yeah.
Their boyfriend who's like constantly, trying to
He's telling her not to go to a psychiatrist. He don't want her ass going to a psychiatrist. She just had a miscarriage because she was in a bad car accident. And then not only that, her mother was murdered.
When she was young,
yeah. When she was 7. She's keeping that from him. She won't tell him about it. But I don't understand that shit. Why she don't tell him, because he's like, he don't want her to go to a psychiatrist. I mean, I don't get that part of it. But,
then you have
you're muted, buddy.
You have the big the blue-eyed stab.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a scene. There's multiple. She's having these visions of this strange-looking guy with strangely bright blue eyes, and he's stabbing people in almost every scene that he's in. So she's having like those kind of things. You're not sure if it's a dream or if she's actually seeing this guy, around.
Right.
And this is the part that gets me about the film. So she starts off and like her husband's giving her these pills and she doesn't really want to take them all like Rosemary's Baby. And then she starts to go see like a psychoanalyst. He doesn't want her to do that. So she stops. So then her friend comes along and her friend is like, hey, I know this cult that can help you. And she's like, yep, I want to do it right now.
Right.
So I was like, wow, that's a hell of a trajectory for you right there, just between all those things.
Let's go to a black mass. Sabbath,
Yeah, that's exactly what she tells her too.
Yeah, this will cure you of all your fears and night terrors that you keep having.
Yeah, so she's just having these dreams. She's trying to figure out how to stop having the dreams, and then she decides to go to a black mass. I think that's what we've all
Maybe-
been through. At one
Maybe
point.
this will make you feel better.
Yeah.
Right.
Come and drink this dog's blood.
Yeah,
That
all these
scene-
guys rape your ass.
By the way, don't that guy look like Joe Dirt with some Lee press on there?
Yeah.
I mean,
He does.
He looks like a messed up Peter O'Toole.
I just couldn't believe they killed the corgi. Was that a corgi? I think that's what they call
I
that
think
dog.
so.
Small dog, yeah.
Yeah.
Dog. So they go. Her friend is concerned about her, and she's like, "Listen, I got I can take you to this place." And I don't. What was her reasoning for getting her to go there? What did she think it was?
She
gonna
said
help
she had
her?
the same thing happen to her. No shit, this is exactly what she said.
Yeah.
She said, I've had the same thing happen to me before where I had all these dream stuff, and I went to this place and they helped me. And she's like, so you should go too.
Later on, they help her real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. There's a lot of.
And I think Ed was just like, shit, I got to get out of here. I'm going
And that little dance they're doing. I mean, what the hell is that? They're like just rocking back and forth. I don't know.
It's a pretty well done occult scene.
Yes.
With the classic kind of satanic cult visuals with the daggers, and the guy has these dagger rings on his fingers that makes it look like he has claws. It's a little goofy. It's kind of like that cheesy thing. Yeah.
Every time he pops out,
He looks like that Pakistani version of Freddy Krueger. Have you seen that movie, whatever that is? Like that's kind of what it looks like.
Oh shit!
No,
Yeah, man.
but for her first trip to the cult, they really she gets the initiation right away.
Yeah, they stab a corgi and
They all
it's just
start
it's
slobbering
downhill
on her.
from there.
Stab a dog, make her drink the blood, and then they have sex with her.
Yeah. Old people too. Oh, licking all over her.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Damn it, Dirk! Bring that up. Ball and orange.
there's a lot of grandmas up here all with their tops off and shit.
Yeah.
Lots of people having bad dreams that went to this cult apparently
Yeah.
that needed help.
There's a lot of boner killers in this.
Yeah.
Damn.
So right away, you know that you can tell this movie's going in a much different direction than
Yeah.
any of these other movies.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, to say the least. And so from that point on, after she goes to the cult for the first time, things progressively get worse. Like the lines of sanity and reality start to even blur more so.
She's having more visions of that guy.
The blue-eyed guy is always around.
Yeah, even at one point he's in her house towards the end, kind of second half of the movie. Her husband though, isn't he there's a woman that lives downstairs. Now is that her friend that lives a couple floors down from Edwidge's character? Is she the one that goes to the cult with her, or is that lady?
No, she's
I
her
don't-
neighbor.
Yeah, that
She's her
lady's just a neighbor. Yeah, that lady tries to tell her stuff about.
And the other woman's her sister.
Okay,
Barbara.
right. Yeah. So, but there was something going on with her husband that I kind of was getting the vibe that he had some ulterior motives.
Oh,
And-
I
her
can't remember.
boyfriend?
I can't remember a damn thing about her boyfriend.
Come on,
I
George
couldn't.
Hilton? The guy
Yeah.
George Hilton?
Yeah.
Other than the fact that he's in and out of it.
They just they make him a very strong red herring, big fan.
Right.
Yeah.
But she's we're not going to spoil it, right? So,
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
no.
try.
Well, I mean, this is not like the others in the terms of
There isn't
It's
a
really-
huge twist. To
Yeah.
it, really. I mean, you're
No, it leaves a big question mark at the end.
it does.
It's kind of like it has to do with her mother. And from what I get from it is something her mother did is why this shit's happening to her anyway.
yes.
Any of it. But
Confusing, like all of them are.
yeah.
So I'm trying to look up the Pakistan Freddy Krueger movie because somebody asked about it real quick. But that's it. That's it. Mahakal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the title if anybody was curious.
Never seen that.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So the whole plot like centers around like you eventually find out that everything that's going on with her has something to do with her past. I'll just put it that way, and the past of her upbringing. And the real star of this movie to me are all the visions and hallucinations and things like that she has, which are all like straight out of hell. And you know, they're done really, really well. They're terrifying. They don't make any sense. She does a great job in the
Blue
role.
Eyes stalking her ass over and over. She's constantly running from his ass the whole damn movie.
He's like the Terminator or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Ivan Razumov.
You're constantly going, who the hell is that guy? The whole time.
I'm trying to figure out like what did they do? They just put like how did they get that effect? That's not a visual effect, right? Like they didn't even have that.
Had to be contacts or something.
The contacts?
Yeah. You could see it on the close up. You could see the eye behind that.
Lindsay,
they look like they'd be made out of glass or something, and those suckers would probably be be very uncomfortable.
They were popular during that time because I've seen it in a few films. Those crazy eyes, like in Lindsay's, was that Knife of Ice? I think. The killer had, or you think it's the killer, has the same kind of eyes.
Fluorescent blue or whatever you would call that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what they cut. There's an alternate U.S. cut on this as well called "They're Coming to Get You." I haven't watched that.
Yeah, I saw that. Or there's another one.
That would actually make more sense than the title.
And I mean,
I love the title of the movie.
Barbara is her sister, so I wonder where they got that from.
Yeah.
That's
what I was thinking.
That is a good title, though, when you think about it, when you actually figure out, where the story's headed.
Baldwin Orange, we've got a whole separate video on Salo if you want to go check it out.
Chocolate pudding edition.
Yeah, type in Salo Dead Pit.
Extra Hershey.
And get you a candy bar and maybe a chocolate donut.
Throw it in the microwave.
Get out all fours.
Okay, before we move on though, this question has to be answered, I guess.
Yeah.
It needs to be answered. Ooh. What are your top 5 Lucio Fulci movies? Go, Steve.
Oh, yeah. Okay, my number 1's Beyond. House by the Cemetery, Gates of Hell, Don't Torture a Duckling. Shit. New York Ripper. Fuck it. That's today. Tomorrow could change. So.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at them right now just so I can recall.
Can't look at them. That's cheating. You just got to go up.
Yeah, City of the Living Dead, The Beyond, 4 for the Apocalypse, and
oh shit. Okay. Deep Cut.
Yeah.
There's another one. I can't.
I just got a Western.
Come on, Steve.
New York Ripper, I guess, would be in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'd have to go Don't Torture a Duckling for sure. That might be.
Yeah, that I'll put that in there. Forget the.
It's probably my favorite rural setting. Sure.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
I would do Don't Torture a Duckling, City of the Living Dead. I mean, you got to have the Beyond in there.
Yeah. Beyond recently became my number 1 though. That's not going nowhere for right now anyway. Like I said, that could change tomorrow. You never know.
New York Ripper, and then these aren't in any order. I can't really say if I could put them in order, but yeah, I mean, New York Ripper, House by the Cemetery. Mm-hmm. It's. I mean, he's got a cut like the Psychic. I want to say. In
what
top
about
5,
Enigma? You don't like that one?
Which one?
Enigma.
No.
I haven't even seen that one. So
no. The song, man, the song is great.
It's not very good.
Snail rape.
Right.
And like Lizard was good. I mean, but I wouldn't put it in the top 5.
I'd put Lizard on a double bill with this one, All the Colors of the Dark.
I would too. They're kind of like the same type of film.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
A lot of hallucinations, except in Lizard, there's a lot of acid and LSD and stuff going on. And this one's just Satan worship causes it.
Yeah.
And I like Zombie. I mean, obviously, I like Zombie.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Yeah,
for some-
everybody left out Zombie. That's weird.
But
Like,
like,
how
I
you
don't know.
talking-
For some reason, I feel like I just those other ones they
Turn you
hit
back
hard.
on Zombie.
Yeah, it's hard.
I will say
Off the top of
everything
the head.
that Matt said, except I would substitute the Psychic probably for one of those titles. I'm not sure which one, but yeah.
I forgot about Demonia.
Oh, most
No, I'm
people
just
did.
joking.
Yeah, it was kind of shitty.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Black Cat either that he did.
Oh, the Black Cat's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's not too
What about
bad.
Cat in the Brain, Bulls? Nobody.
Oh, fuck. That's the greatest hits album
Yeah.
that didn't have any new singles.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. So let's go to the one that everybody knows. Then this is the final in this list. This is the one that's probably the most infamous. I can't figure out why, other than the fact that it most resembles like a slasher film. This is 1973's Torso.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
If the first two we talked about were giallos, the third one was like a cult
Right.
fantasy movie. This is like the closest he got to a slasher.
I
Like
think
straight up.
It's kind of like it's a mix though, right? Because
Yeah, it is.
at the beginning it's like a slasher, and then it turns into a giallo, then it turns into more slasher. But the last 20 minutes, fuck, man, the suspense is awesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. For real.
But I'm not gonna just sum it up that way. But I was just saying, like, just
No, you're right though. The last like half, the third of the movie, I guess, is the best part of the movie by far.
yeah,
Like,
amazing.
yeah,
It
And
is really like
Gaspaldi again. He's doing another trick with that damn door lock with the lock and the door. You know,
yeah,
so
that's true. And like it really is like more of a call to like what slashers would become, because in this one you have a masked killer where you don't really
Yeah.
see that in a lot of these other movies. That it kind of focuses on the ski mask that the guy uses.
yeah, he's got a white mask. He's like disappearing. People see him, and then he disappears. I mean, who's that sound like? You know,
He has a weapon of choice that is
Michael
not the switchblade either. It's the
Yeah,
the
Right.
scarf,
the
which is
scarf.
kind
yeah.
of
the
kind of-
red scarf. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's
The
a interesting.
Fouye or Fugu, what the hell do they call it? I don't know.
Foulard or some shit. Right?
Foulard, yeah, something like that. That's a major plot point in this movie.
Yeah,
There's a sales guy. That's all he sells is these little
yeah.
stupid scarves.
yeah. And every dude in here is a pervert. So, you know, it's kind of like
So it's factually
everybody's a red herring. You know, everybody and their mama. Or
I
their
love the setting is when they go to that real place that's on a hill or whatever you want to call it, the mountain. I think that looks amazing.
dad.
The women are beautiful in this movie, especially Tina Amount, who is just like this pale skin, intense eyes, just gorgeous. And of course, you got the two lesbians,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Susie Kendall. So
Susie
it's pretty.
Kendall looks like Andy's mom from Child's Play, don't she?
Yeah, a little.
I found it
watched
like
earlier. I was like, what the hell?
I found it a great idea too. That like when they find out there's a serial killer running around strangling women, they're all like, "Let's go to this villa and just kind of
Yeah,
like
let's get out of town.
Yeah.
vacation."
And it ain't
Instead-
far, you know, it's like
Well, you don't
Yeah,
get
right
breaks
up
from
there.
college that often, so.
right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
usually that saves your life. But in
And
this
ain't
story, no.
No.
Because
Ain't that,
he's one of the killers obsessed.
Ain't that Danielle's uncle though, or his house or whatever, his mansion? And then he's kind of looking at her, kind of funny at one part too. You know,
Listen, that's the Italian way. Apparently.
Yeah.
what the hell? It's like,
That's amore.
Yeah.
No, it is a great setting though. The house up on the hill that overlooks the
right.
the town below, and they're kind of still isolated just enough that it takes people a little while to get up the hill there. Because isn't it like that one road up, and it's like the people having car trouble and stuff in the one scene I remember.
Well, those cars are like ridiculous.
yeah,
Little mini Coopers.
Yeah. Yeah, they take a tractor up there. That's how they get up there. I think the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
They drive around in micro machines. So.
Yeah.
Like I was saying before, though, it has been like not a real long time, but it's been a solid year since I've seen this. Over a year for sure. So
Well, do you remember the opening?
I do
the
too.
Threesome,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
the threesome opening with and the killer is revealed, but it don't show his face. He plucks the eyes out of the doll, and
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do remember
That's like that's like the gimmick. The flashback sequence they keep going to is like the doll with the eyes getting poked out.
right.
Yeah.
And I would say this is probably his goriest film of the ones that I've seen. Like of actually like showing anything like related to gore, this is it.
Yeah, it is.
So if you're into that kind of thing, then this is probably the movie for you.
Yeah.
Story wise, it's just about a serial killer that's like he's got a lot of serial killers in these movies.
He's
too, by the way.
sexually motivated too, though. You know?
He's a
Yes,
psychosexual killer.
psycho sadist,
Psycho
sexual
sadist.
Yeah.
killer,
Yeah.
psycho circus from Kiss killer.
Psycho. Yeah.
But he's
I mean,
running around strangling all these college women apparently, and then like
Then he mutilates them, cuts them all up.
Yep.
Oh, he's got to fill on their torso though. You got to
hence
fill
the
on
name.
Yeah.
their
The
breasts.
tagline, of course, is "Enter if you dare the bizarre world of the psychosexual mind."
Yeah.
Right. I've seen
Dude.
the alternate titles too. Was the bodies bear signs of carnal violence.
Yeah. Carnal violence is one
Carnal
title.
violence is a great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that though. The bodies bear signs of carnal violence.
That'd be a good like line in a Rob Zombie song.
Right.
They put in there.
That's the name of his next album.
Yeah.
But Martino also he said the original title was going to be called Black Like Terror, Red Like Love.
That's pretty good. That's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's like the scarf, I guess, you know. And even the killer says that at one part on the phone to the chick. What does he say? Something about black and red? You're going to end up like your friends or some shit.
Yeah, that's one thing about this movie is it kind of. I guess this was before
New York.
Black Christmas, right? So like, yeah, this
yeah.
is like a year before. So this is early, like calling up women and harassing them about shit that's going to happen to them, kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, like if you're a fan of slashers, this would be the one to check out because it really is like the precursor to something like.
So many people refer to Black Christmas first slasher. You know, some people can refer to this, but you got
It
Bay
would
of
be in
Blood.
there.
Bay of
It would
Blood.
be.
You got to.
Yeah.
But
I mean, this would be definitely on a list of like the precursor to the American slasher for sure.
right.
Definitely, because like if you look at the end of it, that's the setup for like every slasher movie going forward. Like a bunch of girls go into like a house and like the killer stalks them, and that's it. Like,
Yeah, there's a scene where people are getting high, and you know,
yeah,
the girl goes off in the marshland. And,
Yeah, that's
That's a great scene.
that
Yeah,
really is.
yeah.
That the cinematography in that is really they really focus on like the creepiness of the killer in that one too, because he's there and then he's not there, and he's just kind of the camera angles on him in the swampy area were really cool. It shows him as like this dominating like character for sure.
It seems out of. I mean, that whole scene was like. It just seemed out of place. I mean, it's a very cool scene, but as far as the rest of the film, I don't know. It just for some reason it just didn't seem to fit in. But I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. It's a cool
so
scene.
I mean, most people rank this as like his best film. I don't know. What do you guys think?
it's not for me, but you know, Your Vice is my favorite. Then probably this one is my second.
I think it might be the most accessible of the ones we've talked about.
I think so too.
For general audience or people who aren't really familiar with his movies or these Italian style.
Right. I think it'd be a great first if you want to give somebody wants to get into Giallo, you know, maybe try this one. 'Cause it's
I
got a
like
mix.
it. I think it is. I think it is my favorite. Obviously,
Okay.
I just love the scenery and
Oh, it's got a lot of nudity in this
well,
Yeah,
that too. That helps.
one, right?
I'd probably put it at maybe my second favorite after Mrs. Ward.
Okay.
I think Mrs. Ward is fighting for the top spot for me.
Yeah.
But
I'd probably agree with you on
it's
that. Yeah, of
absolutely
these,
worth
yeah.
watching. All of them are.
Yeah. All four of these are bangers to me.
And here's the interesting thing, though. Like this one, while it's like the closest to being an actual slasher or whatever, I don't think it's like the best film that he did in terms of the visuals or anything like that. I think that probably is like the earlier stuff that he did, like a lot of the early Jolly films that he did. This is like, um, I don't know if it's closer to like Fulci, the way that Fulci did
Yeah.
Giallos. Like it's much
Yeah.
closer to that.
I would say that too. Yeah. There are a lot of like him and Fulci.
So it's a good entry point, like you were saying, Dirk, that to like this kind of genre, I would think too. Now, I'll be honest with you, like I'd seen two of these films before, like I said, and I had not seen two of them. I mean, of course, I'd seen Torso because like that's the one that everybody kind of knows, and
Right.
then I had seen Your Vice, but I had never seen Miss Ward, and I had never seen All the Colors of the Dark. So those were two like really good
Yeah.
ones.
I remember when you said that, I was like, oh shit, you're in for a treat for sure.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed both of those, but he's got a ton of other films. And I was curious if anybody like here had other films of his that they would recommend, like other than the ones
Scorpion's
that we talked.
Tail.
Scorpion's
Yeah,
Tail.
Yeah.
that's one that we didn't even really get to.
That's a real kind of a straight up Jala with a kind of a whodunit, real strong whodunit vibe on that movie for sure, and a different setting as well too, for Scorpion's Tail. Isn't that the one where they're out on the boat and stuff? Am I
Yeah.
thinking of a different?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So that one was kind of different setting for sure, but I would put that in with, if you're going to watch these movies, definitely do Scorpion's
I
Tail.
I only seen the first 5 minutes of this one on Tubi, but I went in and bought this one. But man, that first 5 minutes looked killer, and that's a Policio Teskey, that one that he did. And
Okay.
a lot of people praise the shit out of this one,
The Violent Professionals. Yeah, I had not seen that one.
and that's the same guy that's in
Yeah,
Torso.
he's the doctor in Torso, I believe.
I haven't seen Suspicious Death of a Minor, but I have it in one of these Giallo
That's
sets.
not
Yeah.
that great for me. It's not. It's real slow. It's more. It's not really a giallo. It's more Policio Teskey, but it's boring to me. I thought, but I don't know what you think, Steve. But
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's not something I would race to rewatch.
right, I'm not going. I mean, I have it, but I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be first one I grab.
Yeah, I gotta check it out soon once I get into that next
And
Giallo
stay
box.
away from the case. What is it, the two tails? What is it? Two scorpion tails? What is it?
I was going
Scorpion
to ask about
Tails.
that. Is that like the sequel to the other one,
No.
or like what is
No,
the deal with that?
I mean, it's a good time if you want to, with a crowd of people, you want to laugh and shit. But it's not a great one.
It has a real cool poster on
It
Letterboxd.
does. It does. Yeah, it's kind of like back in the day, you got the VHS, get your
Yeah.
VHS, and
That would certainly be one I would pick up based on the artwork alone.
right.
So I don't think I can stress this enough though, but like if people don't know, like Tubi is your place to go to for all this shit. Like
Oh my
just if
God,
you I mean, you can find almost every movie that we've talked about. I think the only one that wasn't on there was All the Colors of the Dark. Like that was the only one. And there's like a ton of others from Martino that's on there too. So
Any
I know
Italian
that-
movie, really. These Italian
Yeah.
horror movies, they're
Yeah.
all over Tubi, and I think Plex and one of those other free movie apps. That a couple of them are on there if they're not on Tubi. It's amazing that
Didn't they
How-
just shut down a There's a YouTube channel Steve told me about a while back. I think they shut it down though.
Yeah, Jello Realm.
Yeah, it used to have a ton on there, but
So there's another YouTube channel that uploads these movies called the Geologist, but it's instead of geologist, it's geologist. For
Ah, it's clever.
yeah, that is still, I believe that channel's still up, and that there's like Bay of Blood is on there, and like
okay.
one of his movies might be on there. I can't remember which one, but if you look that up, I believe it's still on YouTube. And the uploads aren't actually that bad quality either. But you can find these randomly, like they get put up on YouTube and all that, and sometimes they get taken down.
Yeah.
This is the Blue Underground.
Oh, I had that. Yeah.
One that I have. It's got, I think the Arrow one's better. I don't know. Steve would know, but
yeah. It's hard to, but I have the Arrow one and it looks amazing. So.
Okay. Yeah. But I watched there's an Italian English hybrid. It's 3 minutes longer than the English. If anybody want to know that. I'm guessing there's 3 minutes more gore, or that was cut out. Or something.
Oh yeah, it is broken up on. It's broken up on this one too, like that. So there's the 94-minute Italian cut and the 90-minute English cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have sure that one. That one don't have hardly any features. This Blue Underground one, but I mean, you can see there ain't hardly nothing on there. It's got a little 11-minute interview with Martino. That's about it.
Oh,
it's got an introduction with Eli Roth.
Oh, great!
The film.
There you go.
Can't wait to see that. Go back and watch that over and over again.
And that's something we didn't talk about. Eli Roth stole shots, for Hostel out of Torso. I mean,
yeah, and he's got. Isn't she in like Hostel 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that fucking blew my mind when I found that out. I was like, that guy's just blatantly like ripping off shit and then putting the people he ripped off into his movies. So
he does love those films, though. You can tell, but
he does. Like if you hear him, like he was great on the Tarantino podcast where they talked about those.
Yes,
those films. Like he's great, like to listen to talk about like just the behind the scenes of these movies and the making of them. He's great on the history of all of them. But when it comes to making movies, he just doesn't hit the spot for me like at all. His which is kind of you would think somebody that knows that much about movies like this and has such a passion for them would be able to kind of recreate that kind of vibe for the fans of those movies. But
that's the difference between him and that's the difference between him and Tarantino, though.
Yeah.
But I would definitely recommend getting the Arrow thing because there's a lot of. It's mostly interviews, but there's a lot of interviews on it.
Right. I need to grab that one.
Heavy Metal Turtles wants to know which one of the best Blu-ray companies out there that does good stuff.
Well, that's kind of hard to say.
That's really hard to say. It depends on what you like.
Right.
Really.
I mean, personally, it would be Arrow for me, but
yeah.
But the mayor's asking, this is Blue Underground.
And Blue Underground had a lot of good releases. Like I have the Lucio Fulci collection Blu-ray that they did of his with the three. It has House by the Cemetery, New York Ripper, and City of the Living Dead, and it's in a 3-pack. I don't know if that's still available anymore or not, but that was a cool like set. It might actually be out of print now, but of course those movies are on 4K since then.
Yeah,
I mean, I could see Torso getting a 4K really.
I was gonna say
that probably will happen.
I was gonna say that earlier for sure. Like of any of these that would look great on 4K. I mean, they'd all look great on 4K, but I think
do a box set for Martino.
I'm just going to tell you the version of All the Colors of the Dark that I watched was on YouTube because. By the way, you can't find that shit anywhere, and I don't own it. So, like, if you try to go to like Amazon Prime, they're like, "Fuck you," like, and it's not on Tubi or anything
it's hard to get,
So
Dude,
I had to go on YouTube and watch like the only English version they had looked like something that, you know, when you used to make VHS tapes and like you had
Yeah.
6 titles on there.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. The
Man,
extended play VHS tape days.
I had that same problem, dude. That's part of the reason why I went to Amazon and bought this, because I was looking everywhere to friggin' watch this. That one on YouTube was god awful looking, and
That's
some of
what
the
I
other
watched. Yeah.
some of the other ones were just in Italian with no subtitles at all. So I mean, I went to damn near every site that I knew that I could like watch it and stream it on, and none of them had it. So I mean, this is pretty much your best bet, and I don't know why this one out of all of them, but it's hard to get a hold of if you're looking to watch it for free.
I know. So Video Man and Gizmo, I think that's right. Says Umbrella, Vinegar Syndrome, Blue Underground, Second Sight, and Arrow are his favorites. Those are all solid choices. Yeah.
That was my buddy from Norway.
Oh, okay. He's a Ouija.
He's a filmmaker too.
I would say Arrow for sure is probably like the number one for quality of movies that they release. It would probably be Arrow.
And for the price too. Not only do they release like good movies, but like they don't try to rape you like Severin does. Like
No, it sounds like Heavy Metal Turtles. He's not really been in the collecting. It sounds like Kino, man. Can't go wrong with Kino.
Yeah,
Kino's getting ready to have their big sale soon too, so that'd definitely be a time to buy a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, towards the end of this month, they should be having their big like sale. There's like 800 movies that they put on sale.
Yeah. I have to like spend an hour going through all the shit just to see like what I want to try to get.
Break out spreadsheets and
also though, this would be a good time to transition to this. Tomorrow, Vinegar Syndrome's having another sale that I'll be covering at noon, which will be standard Blu-rays with no slips.
Mm-hmm.
So all the fancy pants blue tubers don't want none of that shit.
No.
It's $12 though tomorrow.
No slip, no dipping. No slipping, no dipping.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be really picking anything up on that sale tomorrow, because I'm thinking like anything that
I'm done. I've spent too much damn money.
I just think that anything that's a standard only edition, it's probably something that I already have it or I don't want it. So
yeah,
we'll see. But I'm most excited for Friday with the $18 4Ks.
Me too.
And then like, what's the one on Thursday?
Wednesday,
Thursday? Damn money.
Okay, so tomorrow is standards. Wednesday
and Thursday are the same thing. I think
it's just VS, like
VSA.
VS, and then one day's got VSAs and one day doesn't. I think that's what it is.
So those Wednesday and Thursday might be tempting. There could be some good stuff on there. I'm really hoping that Annie Lee's Meat Pies is on there, because I do want to pick that up. Like
I do too. Like I couldn't believe like how much I like that movie. I was like, "There's no way."
Well, y'all shit on that for a while.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. We literally took the piss out of that movie for months, and it turns out to be like one of the best things that they've released, in my opinion, in forever.
It's really fun. It's really fun to watch, and that one's still on Tubi, I think, because that's where I watched it.
Oh yeah. Oh, Curly was putting it over, but you can't never know what you
Yeah.
get with that.
Yeah, I don't put any stock in that. Umbrella will reveal their next films tomorrow as well. They have some insane great titles of last year. I did not know that they would do that tomorrow, but that'll be some more stuff. Good Lord.
I'm just hoping that on Friday those 4Ks are like, I'm hoping that it's just not a bunch of the ones that we don't want.
It'll be a bunch of dog shit. It has to be.
I went on there and looked at their 4Ks that they currently have for sale, and I'm like, man, they've released a lot of 4Ks that like I definitely don't want. So I'm thinking they might be like, but I don't know. I'm kind of tempted on the one with Schizoid, one of the ones they did on 4K.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a 4K, and so it's the one with the X-ray on the.
Yeah, so like,
Double. I would grab that.
I would if that's on
that'll
there.
probably be on there. Yeah, I would say that would be one of them because they had that in the other sale too. It was pretty.
That'd be one to grab for sure.
So Wednesday and Thursday are slipcovers and a VSA. So we'll see. Those VSAs have been god awful that they've been putting in there too.
Oh man, that Six String Samurai that was on there, I was like, I'm still not buying that.
Hey,
No.
you know, if you're not gonna buy it, then you're not ever gonna buy that.
No, you guys all
That
bought it.
almost totally killed them. That release
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
that sunk the ship.
I feel
Did
like
you get
they've
that?
been trying
Did you
to
get that?
offload that for a while.
Yeah.
Did you get that Gorgo?
No, I haven't. I didn't.
No, I missed out on that one.
Biggest title
Yeah.
ever.
Damn.
I probably will end up getting that damn Tarot 10 Killer though, just because
That's a better movie than Gorgo. I mean, more entertaining.
Dana has talked that damn movie up for years, so it better
There's
be
a-
like halfway decent.
No, man.
The best part I like of it is
Hey.
like the friend chick in the movie. At one point, I don't know. They must have filmed some of it at a later date because she's flat chested through the whole movie, and all of a sudden she's got
Yeah,
implants.
Yeah,
God.
yeah. It's like shot on video, man.
Well, it's 4K now, so you know that's going to help it out a ton.
Oh yeah.
And shot on video releases.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so okay, Steve, you got anything going on here soon?
No, it's, probably a lot of sleep and complaining. But
It's the two best things to do.
no, that's about it for this week. I'm gonna relax since I took the week off.
oh nice.
Yes, indeed.
Hell yeah.
All right, then, Dirk, what do you got going on, man?
Saturday doing another episode of Hour to Kill. We're gonna cover the last 3 Forgotten Jolly that we haven't covered yet. I'm trying to remember. French sex murders. Damn. The police are blundering in the dark, and damn, I can't remember the third one. But and then there's
That's-
like some,
That's
They were
one of the
gonna-
sets I bought on yesterday's sale. Was the Volume 4 Forgotten Gialli.
That's
Yeah.
it too.
I only saw Arabella Black Angel. That's the only one I've seen.
oh man, damn, that's the worst one to me.
That's a rough one for sure.
That's the worst one out of all the sets. In my
Volume
opinion.
4.
Yeah, the Arabella.
Okay, yeah. It
The other
was
2 were good. The
okay.
Killer's Still Among Us. Yeah, it's good. But and then I'm covering 3 films out of that new Violent Street set. The Lindsay.
Oh yeah, we're
Yeah,
going to be
that's
getting to him soon too.
That's a
Be
damn good set,
coming.
man. His Policio Teskey films.
Do you have the Years of Lead set from Arrow?
No, I don't.
That's a good one. Yeah, if you're into those Policio Tetsi movies, that
I'm getting more into them. I definitely am because I think that's probably Lindsay's best shit is when he does that versus other stuff.
Yeah, you can probably get that Years of Lead. That's got to be, if it's still available, it's got to be discounted highly by now because it's been out for a couple of years. I feel like already.
I did grab that. I know this is completely on a whole nother topic, but the Vengeance Trail set, and it's got a Fulci film in there.
Yeah,
Western he did. I haven't checked out yet.
Massacre Time. That's a good one.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
so
I'll go ahead.
of the guys, here's what I'm thinking about doing with this too. I'm thinking about like having season 1 and season 2 of this show like toward immediately. So like the end of this season will probably be next week, and then pick up with like a second season further on down the road, because there's so many of these fucking guys that like it can just go on and on and on like this.
Yeah,
So next week will probably be the season ender with CK, which will be Claudio Fragasso. And after that, like somewhere in season 2, you've got Umberto Lenzi, Michele Suavi, Luigi Cosi, like a lot of different guys like that we can cover and just keep going on from there. But yeah, so I would look out for that one to be next Monday at 10. She'll be Claudio Fragasso. It's one of the, I don't know what you'd call him, one of the worst Italian filmmakers of all time, or one of the, but him and
yeah.
Rossella Drudy like fucking tore it up there for a while.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
that.
Martino's he's high tier for me, man. He's in my top 5 for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that to compare Martino to like Claudio Fragasso is kind of not fair, but that's what
Right.
we're going to be doing, really. So Matt, I know you usually say you're not doing anything. when it comes to
Yeah, content
Yeah.
creation. Really, I'm not
Yes.
like I don't know. I just haven't gotten into that realm yet. But I'm popping in and out of these streams, so I'm down. Like I said, any collaborations, I'm down to bullshit about any kind of these movies and stuff like that. But again, I'm waiting on that damn To Live and Die in LA set. Damn it!
Oh, that's
that
yeah,
4K.
me too.
So
Was that Kino putting that up?
Yeah.
Or-
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
That blue looks great, man. I can't believe you are getting the 4K. that arrow
I
blue.
don't own the I own the
Okay,
I own
okay.
the Arrow.
That makes
Yeah, I do own the Arrow Blue.
Okay.
But I always wanted the Shout Select version, so I
Yeah.
could never like pick that up or anything. Because I wanted to own like every version of that movie that I could. So I don't give a shit. I just
I mean, it's a great movie, man. It really is.
yeah.
I think that 4K. I'm hoping and I'm praying that I think it might be one of the best looking 4Ks of the whole year, just because of that.
Of that movie.
Just the opening title sequence of that movie with the giant green lettering and stuff. I know that's just gonna pop out of the screen like 3D. So
that shit at the end, though, man, that's a shocker.
It's a crazy movie. Yeah, it's a hard to believe that it like was made the way it was by a studio.
I really can't wait to rewatch it. That's like one of my most anticipated releases of the year, next to like The Hitcher.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when the hell is that thing coming out? Have they ever said anything about that now?
They don't have a date yet, but I think they're trying to get it out before the end of the year. But last update they had, they were still kind of doing the finishing touches on it. So it'd be nice if it was by the end of the year.
Release of the year for me has got to be what that shirt you got on, Matt.
The Exorcist, are they doing a 4K in the U.S.?
Yeah. I don't know about the U.S., but
okay,
when it hits 4K, I'm grabbing it. I don't care.
Yeah, there's got to be a U.S. release at some point, just because it's the Exorcist. I mean, there would have to be, but that'll be in day one for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, a lot of stuff coming out. Matt, when that thing does hit though, To Live and Die, we're gonna have to do that review.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Where'd you pre-order yours at?
I want to say I pre-ordered it directly from the fucking site from Kino.
Really? Okay, because I had it pre-ordered from like this Bull Moose. I don't know if you ever heard of Bull Moose. They do a lot of like vinyl and movie stuff. But then I got to thinking about it, and it was like, I don't know how fast they are at shipping because I never really ordered from them before. So I canceled it.
Moose, they're pretty good. They're pretty quick.
Yeah. I canceled it and ordered it from Amazon because it was actually like almost $10 cheaper on Amazon.
Well, so there you go.
I'm hoping that it gets.
I got super excited.
You're gonna get that bubble mailer or cardboard though. That's the only bad thing with Amazon.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get it either way. I'm confident that Amazon won't.
They'll make it right. You just they always ship in a bubble mailer.
Well, I got something recently from them, and it was stomped all to shit. Like I'm trying to remember what it was.
Oh no!
It was that. Oh god, it was a Kino release too. It was all jack. Oh, it was Stone Cold. Yeah, somebody like stepped on it or something. Like the slip cover was all fucked up. So
see, man, I've had good luck. I knock on wood, man. I have not had really a lot of shit get ruined from Amazon. Like this, all the color came from Amazon, and it was a bubble mailer, and it was fine. Like I'm always scared. I'm always like shaking the package to see like, oh, is there a loose disc or is it cracked? But man, I've had good luck so far with Amazon purchases. So I just wish they wouldn't use those bubble mailers, but that ain't never going to change.
No, but I mean that's the first time I've had that happen that I can recall. That was really bad like that. So yeah, it was kind of messed up. But I'll still buy from them. I don't give a shit. Like it's not going to happen very often. I know that. But anyway,
no, you can't really hardly beat it.
For Steven and Matt and Dirk, I'm Uncle Bill over at Dead Pit. Dead Pit on Patreon, deadpit.com, Dead Pit on YouTube, Into the Dead Pit on Instagram, Dead Pit on Twitch, Dead Pit on Twitter, and then Dead Pit on Snapchat. Check us out on all those formats. And for everybody on here, thank you for tuning in. For everybody that was in the panel, thank you for coming. We're going to get the hell up on out of here. right about now, Funk Soul Brothers.
Give us the thumbs up,
Up you butt.
like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do or
I
not.
want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on
No,
YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit radio shirts. You can get Last South on the left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Dead Pit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.